Okay. Thank you for having me, Creative Mornings. I just want to say it's the first time I address creatives, which is going to be very interesting. Usually it's teachers, principals, NGOs, and people in that space. So, because I use a lot of the creativity in what I do. So, what I want you to do first is I would like everybody to get up, please. Thank you. Let's get up. Let's get up. Okay. So, all I want to do is we're going to do this. Watch me. We're going to do this. Is the choreography we're going to do. It goes. Yeah? Okay, so the first move is right hand does the shoulder of your left shoulder and it goes ta-ta. That's the speed. So 5, 6, 7 and the beautiful thing is the sound will tell us if we're in sync. We don't need to look at each other, anything, right? So 5, 6, 7 and cool. So once we hit our left shoulder, hit your waist and land on the right. Okay, so the speed is going ta-ta-ta-ta. Can we try it quickly? Let's go. 5, 6, 7 and sounds good. Can we do it a bit louder? 5, 6, 7 and now all you're doing is taking your left hand on your right shoulder, click and then land. Okay, cool? So it's over here, click and land. Let's do everything together slowly, okay? And then we do it fast. Okay, 5, 6, 7 and flick, flick, hit, land. 1, 2, 3. Okay, can I watch you quickly? Okay, 5. Come on, guys. 5, 6, 7, go. Well done, you guys messed it up. Thank you. And that's how I usually use dance when I work with my kids. Number 1, it cuts across all cultures and stuff. We all know dance and you feel it. Number 2, good morning, class. Good morning, sir. It's so 2001 maybe. Right? Okay, cool. So the theme. And end to the end. Okay, I'm going to skip the start. I'm going to get straight into it. I'm going to give you some background. Then that will lead you into why I do what I do. Is that cool? Okay, so firstly, come from a traditional family background. You have to finish school. You have to go to university. You have to get your degree. Now, no creativity. It's all my brother and sister before me. Mechatronic engineering, doctorate, my brother, sister, all these other degrees, right? So I come, naughty kid, failing dismally. So that whole traditional thing didn't work. My brother and they done, the traditional subjects, maths, accounting. I followed suit. My matric results, I got a D. My highest mark was a C, but I got C, D, E, 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 D. C, D, basically, something like that. I could spell with it. But in this time, I got introduced to the hip hop culture. Saw someone dance at school, and I'd always get excited when my friend when they had to dance, and I'd say, Michael, go dance, not knowing that it's something I had to pursue. After school, I tried it out, and I started dancing. Then I realized, flip, you can do this thing. And the lessons that I learned from the hip-hop culture, I'm going to share after this. So I finish, I then go into teaching, guys. I ended up with maths. So how does a guy who got an E for maths end up in maths? I don't know. RCPUT. RCPT, I get into maths, and I started living 2 separate lives when I got into dancing. And I started doing this maths thing, right? And it sucked though. At school I sucked. At university what happened was my marks started improving. And then I started questioning, was it myself? Was it my school? Was it the teacher? Was the environment at home? What was it that made me struggle? And at university I started growing. I started this hip hop thing and we start winning competitions. We start doing things that are next level. We started a crew called the Release Crew, and we became the first dance group in South Africa to place top 10 in the world, right? What happened then was, to the background, what happened then was I realized, it's so lekker to do quite something, you know what I mean? It's lekker. I done well. But this is what I learned from the hip-hop culture. Hip-hop culture is this, especially in dance. If I do this move, if I do this, right? And the people go crazy for it, right? The next competition I do this, people gonna go crazy for it? No. So you always have to bring something new to the table. It's big on originality. It's the one lesson I learned from the hip-hop culture. The second thing was, it's to be unpredictable. Personally, I don't dance so much anymore in the scene, but I know certain crews, and I know what they do, so I never watch them. Because I know what they're going to do. The third thing was, you have to represent your work, man. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you're going to judge a competition, you have to go up and show what you can do. That's the other thing I learned. And the fourth one was hard work. So, I started teaching, and I was the worst teacher that existed. Worst. I'm talking about when the intercom went off. It was me that they called, not the students. I'm serious. We would sit and mark. We would be marking. Intercom would go off, and my colleague would go, Kurt Minnaar, to the office, and it would be me. And then I lost marks. My admin sucked, and I was naturally creative, so I just struggled in school, and I hated this whole school thing. Before I get to that, but, sorry guys, I'm just battling here a bit. Okay, so I'm struggling at school, but yet, so I get late to school as a teacher. Number one, I'm late. I can't hold my kids' attention. But when I go to my dance crew, I'm first at practice. When we dance, we could hold the people's attention. It became evident afterwards that I'm living these two separate lives, you know what I mean? So at school, I'm this horrible teacher, and here I'm this great dancer, and we're doing great things. So I realized, you know what? I'm going to start focusing on dance because I just wanted to leave school to go dance. I wanted to be with my friends. I wanted to practice. I didn't want to be at school. Then everything changed, and I said, you know what? I'm going to focus on my teaching, and I'm going to bring my whole skill set that I've gained, I've learned, into my teaching. Number one, I'm surrounded by a whole lot of creatives. I've got, my wife's a graphic designer. She's wonderful. I've got friends that are illustrators. I do video work myself, and I dance. So I brought this into my teaching and learning. And then now we start speaking about context to content. So, yeah. Okay, context gives intent to the content. What does that mean? Everybody loves dance, right? The kids love dance. The kids get with it. They move, and it's fun. If I just teach the content, which a lot of teachers do, it becomes extremely boring, right? I just stand like I'm doing now. I'm just standing and talking, and you get bored, and you're like, what is this guy doing? It becomes really boring. And in South Africa, with all our social issues and everything that's happening at home, we have to bring a different context. And my context I brought was the world I came from, which was hip-hop, right? And I did not know that I'm operating in a space called hip-hop education. Now, in our universities, nobody offers hip-hop ed here as a module or a subject. If you go to Columbia University, if you go to Harvard, you go to a lot of these places, they offer hip-hop ed as a module. And we do know that hip-hop is probably the most attractive culture for the youth at the moment, right? Number one downloaded genre of music in the world. It surpassed rock, I don't know, last year, 2 years ago. So it was important for me to bring that context to my class. And Christopher Emden, he speaks about context to content. So all I done was, I brought that hip-hop flavor to my classroom. No? Because you see a hip-hop thing going down, the kids get excited. It's dope, it's fun. You want to be there. There's something powerful about the circle, but when you're standing and talking about the content, it is extremely, extremely boring. And that brings us to the theme. Hopefully this will be the end of boring classrooms. Right? It will be the end of a certain pattern of thinking, dogma, which is, a way of thinking that we now have to live by, and that's extremely horrible. And these are of the things I've created. I think that's next. Okay. Very simple. What do you see there? It's very basic for the graphic designers, I guess, and the designers here. You see a sneaker, right? It's a sneaker, but yet it's also the multiples of 3. So now we speak about inclusivity, right? They like to speak about inclusivity. It's the buzzword in education at the moment. Inclusivity. Yet we do not know how to teach the entire curriculum to just cater to the dancers. All of your children might be dancing, like to move, right? All of your kids like music, but can we teach the entire curriculum using just music? We're sending rockets to space, we're doing the craziest things, but we can't do that. Come on, you know what I mean? If we put the time in, we can figure it out, because I personally believe if you think long enough about 2 things, you will be able to find a connection between it. Mine was, which I'm going to share with you later, was dance and math. How do I teach kids to add and subtract using purely dance with no talking? And I'm going to share that with you in a bit. And I figured it out, and it's amazing. This is so check this out. This is visual, right? Visual. And have you seen what the posters in schools look like? It's horrible. Especially, I don't want to mention the brand, but those Pick and Pay equations and stuff that they have, and the poster starts falling over. It looks horrible. So this automatically makes your class look better. And to the privileged schools, they can frame these, and it looks even better. But now, you can frame this mother sucker. It looks really beautiful. It's clean, minimalist design. Whatever. So it's visual. And I'm going to show you the auditory side of this. Put your hands together for me. Let's go. Hey, hey, hey. All you gotta do is try, just try. Come on. This is the multiples of 3 right here, okay? So this is what I do for my kids when I start with the multiples of 3. This is the lesson. We go 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30, 33, 36, 39. Just 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30, 33, 36, 39. And then the kids like this part. It goes 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 20, 1, 24, 27, 30, 33, 36, 39. Woo! 33, 36, 39. Hey, 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 hey. I'm starting to feel this, guys. We'll get into it now. You're the best. Okay, cool. So check this out. Like, I've been reading some theory on performance pedagogy, especially in the hip-hop space. And the most basic thing is, when you watch your favorite artist, rapper, or singer, don't they hook and hold you? Am I right? And you got this thing, it automatically does this thing where you go, I look up to them, so I'm going to listen to them, right? Because it irritates me sometimes. I'm a teacher, and I talk and the kids don't listen. An artist comes to the school, they talk for 10 minutes, the whole school is quiet. Yeah? I was part of youngster school tour, going around filming and stuff, and he just speaks to the whole class, everybody, even at the art festival, they're just quiet and expectant. And I'm like, wouldn't it be great if we as teachers had that? And now we start speaking about what's our skill set. So for me, fortunately, I can dance. I'm going to do a bit for you now. I can dance, I can film, I can edit. So I can create my content and I can control my content. And automatically when I do this for the kids, they party in my hands, man. I promise you. And I'm working in a school now. I don't want to take too long. I'm working in a school now, guys, where you can have all these great things, but it's so difficult to work with these kids. Have you ever seen a school where 4 kids jump from the roof at the same time to bunk? Yeah, yesterday I just looked at the window and boom, 4 kids jumped there before yesterday. It's the craziest thing. You walk into a fresh smell of weed. Like, it's crazy, but after a few months now, we're making gains. So now, I do this thing, it didn't work, but so when the kids come in now, I just vibe. So the music plays, I play like a relevant song that they like Nasty C. So I play it, and as they come in, I vibe, and they come in dancing, and then they're more chill, I play a motivational video and they're quiet. So we need to be more relevant, isn't it? We need to get to that level with our kids. Paulo Freire said, the answers lay in the engagement. Right? So every crowd is different. I have to pick you up. That's why my mouth was dry earlier. You saw I was a bit nervous. It's the first time, so I have to get used to it. But I'm comfortable, and you can see it. No. And that's the difference. So I need to pick it up and then engage and then figure out how I do this with you guys. So when you look at the kids, I call it hints from heaven. Because I played a song from Nasty C and all the kids rapped the words. I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to play that for you guys every time now. And it works, just because I watched. So I'm going to try and do a bit of, this is multiples of 7. Multiples of 7. Woo! Multiples of 7. Multiples of 7. Multiples of 7. Dreamer education. 7, 14, 21, 28. 35, 42, 49, 56, 63, 70, 77, 84, 91, 70, 77, 84, 91, 7, 14, 21, 28, hey, 35, 42, 49, 56, 63, 70, 77, 84, 91, and I like this part again, 80, and it goes, 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42, 49, 56, hey, 63, 70, 77, 84, 84, 91, 91, 91, multiples of 7, dreamer education. You see, even you light up when I do that. You look at that. So, and I share this with all the teachers. I say, when you have a kid, like even if you're a parent, whatever, and you have a kid, sometimes we pray because our system is so messed up that we pray that we have that kid that can work on their own, isn't it? You can sit, learn, pick it up, we call them the smart ones. But the people, the creatives know, a lot of the creatives I know, didn't do too well in school, but we know we're bright. And our schools don't cater for that. So because of our incompetency as teachers, not being able to teach the kid the way those kids learn, in 2019, we blame the kid. Sir, how do you do that? I'll explain. Sir, I still don't know. How do you do that, sir? I'll go back to the board. Sir, I don't know. What do I do as a teacher? You stupid. You don't do your bloody work. I now deflect and I put it on you because I don't know how to teach you in a way that you know. Alright? And that's the problem. So my thing is, I'm a dancer. I struggled in school. So I wanted to create ways in which I can learn. So a lot of the things I'm doing works for me. I mean, I never knew multiples of 12. Look at this. 12, 24, 36, 48, 60, 72, 84, 96, 108, 120, 132, 144, 156. And multiples of 12 is important. Your bond repayments, your couch. Huh? What's the guy going to say? And then I get 3-4 years, I say 12, 24, 30. No, sir. Do you get what I'm saying? And multiplication, why we started with, it's a very important foundational basic that you need to know in math, because from there you go to squares and cubes, and if you fall flat there, you're going to fall flat moving forward. And I like to think that it's not that we're stupid, it's not that I sucked at school, it's just that the system wasn't designed for me to thrive. It's like plants, man. You can't put the wrong plant in the wrong place. Put a bonsai in shade and that bonsai is going to fall flat, right? It's the same thing. So we need to change the way we do it, and that's what I'm trying to do. So the cool thing about creativity is, you know, you can use the same thing in different ways, isn't it? Am I right? You can use it for this and that. So I've got, you saw the visual, right? You heard the song. But now we shoot the music video as well. You know, it's so simple. I'm just taking one thing and bringing it to a different industry. And this is your space. This is design. You guys know this is basic, but it's simple and it's clean. Thank God my wife's a designer. I can just say things and then she makes it. But what does that speak to? It speaks to the speed at which we get things done, right? It speaks to, if we're going to do this moving forward, that's how quick we should be. That's how quick we should be able to react to certain things. We can't wait. Our generation waited, and we cannot make this generation wait, because if they're going to wait, guys, we are screwed up. Hulle praat nou hier van robotics and all this stuff. The schools don't even have toilets, but they're going to bring robotics in. So the child's going to work here with robotics, but must go sit in a pit toilet. It blows my freaking mind. Like, it's crazy. So here's one of the first music videos that we shot for multiples of 7. Multiples of 7, 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 multiples of 7. Am I okay for time? Education. 7, 40, 21, 28, 35, 49, 63, 70, 77, 84, 91, 70, 77, 84, 91. 740, multi-21, 28, multi-35, 42, 49, 63, 70, 77, 84, 91, 70, 77, 84, 91, 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42, 49, 56, 63, 77, 84, 84, 91, 91, 91, multiples of 7. And the beauty is, we shot that. Thank you. Thank you very much. It's amazing. Isn't it crazy when you do the same thing for so long and yet you get audience that love it? You know, like 2 years, like, okay, cool, it's great. The cool thing is, we shot and edited that ourselves because we have control over it, right? And as I'm standing here, I'm just like, I use slides as my guide. I just feel like I need to say to the creative industry, you guys have a huge responsibility to play in the space, because you guys control a lot of things. You control what the people are going to buy, what they're not going to buy, what they're going to look at, what they're not going to look at. And you can control what the kids are going to look at and learn in the class just by your design. I promise you, I just play that, my kids are quiet. Not a freaking sound. That gives me discipline. So even the content itself can help teachers with discipline. And we need to fix this stuff. This is not a dream education or Kurt problem or you problem or you. It affects all of us. You're going to send your kid to the private school. Fantastic. Get robbed by the kid that was suffering and struggling, right? It's our problem. We need to do this together. You can't run away and hide away at school. Run away. We need to do this together. So you'll see in this video, the multiple number wasn't there. And you know, we take critique. We need to take critique. Someone said, not good. If you put the numbers on there, it will also help. And we learned from it, and then we shot another one. And the best part is, these are all local people in these videos. That's Corey, that's my friend. My wife done the makeup. The next guy is, maybe you heard of him, Brandon Peterson. He used to go by the name of B-Boy the Curse. 3 times SA Red Bull BC1 champion. All of you guys might have heard of him. He danced in this video. We shot it in Puma over here. And the beauty is, this is South African content made by South Africans for South African kids. We keep running to Singapore maths only works in private schools. They tested it in public schools. They didn't tell anybody it didn't work. It fell flat because it doesn't meet our conditions. It doesn't fit our schools. You know what I mean? And we need to look at all our kids. We can't just, like, I'm going to do some work with the private school chain now. It's the craziest thing. I work in the craziest messed up schools, and then I work in the best schools. And I'm like, guys, we need to bring this thing together because it's about us and not about your select few and maintaining privilege or wherever we're going, right? And moving forward, we're going to convert these and change of these into Xhosa, into different African languages. Sepedi, because we have to. It's not about me and my English, and it's about us, right? I'm getting into it here, I get worked up, I get excited. Okay, here's the next one. This is multiples of 6 with B-Boy the Curse. We shot and filmed and all that stuff. Forty-two, 48. 60, 66, 72, 78. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 56, 42, 48, 54, 60, 66, 72, 78. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48, 54, 60, 66, 72, 78. Do you know what's crazy for me? Do you know what's crazy for me? Okay, go. Do you know what's crazy for me? The guys I work with on the content of the people that struggled in maths, yet they're the ones now in the videos to make the maths look beautiful for the other kids learning it. It just blows my... I didn't even know what to make of it sometimes. I'm like, you couldn't do... But you making... You know, I don't know if it resonates. Something that this is something special about it. You never had to see that. Anyway, isn't that what our textbooks look like generally when we explain to kids 360 degrees, am I right? Yeah. It might not have the dot, it might now, guys, here is 2019, how boring is this? Huh? How boring is it? Yes, my bro, it's crazy. But sir, this circle is the same as that circle, eh? But it's boring. So, it's taking the basic things and changing it, making it relevant, making it beautiful. Yeah? So I sat and I had this vision, and I'm going to show you what was the result of it, but I ended up working with, my wife did the design on it, laid the angles and the stuff on it. I got her, Lindsay Apollos, amazing photographer, all of you might know him. He done the photography for the shoot. And now you see, I just saw this, and we sat together with all the dance. Now I didn't know is it art direction or something? When you have an idea, and you get everybody together, and they create this thing, what is that? Is it art direction? I don't know what it is. You can help. No, ek ken nie te goed nie. But you have a vision and you run after it. Now this is the result of working with, running after a vision that I think the kids would love more. And these are adults going, ah. Can you see what content is doing to you? Can you see what design? And this is what a lot of you guys are involved in this. And you know what the thing is? People will come and copy. You know what the thing is? These are local people, and we're local people doing it, right? And I feel like we need to get to a space where we protect each other. We already saw it. I'm talking about capitalism now. It's done. We take, and we use, and we sell, and we steal, and whatever. Instead of going, hey, we're going to do this, why don't we go, okay, cool, come we add to this, we work together. And for those of you here in this space, and this, I didn't plan this, but for those of you in this space that have a certain skill set or something, like to be part of something like this, let's talk, let's build this thing up, let's build, because it's for our kids, it's for our schools, and not just for private school or it's for all our kids. Because we know some private schools at the same time, it's just because they're small classes and have all the resources, yet there's kids there that struggle because of the way they're teaching, isn't it? And this will open up their doors as well, you know, in terms of their mind. Same with this over here. Wouldn't that land? Some of you going, if only I had this in school when I was in school. And isn't it so simple though? It's such a simple thing. But you see why you're important? Because if I did all this stuff, if I had to take the photo and I had to lay the design, it would have looked horrible. It would have looked horrible. Okay, let's go. Here things get very interesting. This is something that the whole thing blew up in the media. I got into Heart FM, and the story literally went all over the world. Crazy. India. It was in India. India's big on maths, my bro. India's writing about it. 13 countries in Africa, the States, all those places. This wasn't part of that though, and I love this thing. So I'm going to explain how this works. And I didn't even, okay. We create symbols, right? You know that more than anything. I didn't study symbolism or anything. I just know we as people create symbols. So sign language is manual communication. Yeah? We speak about inclusivity, but yet in class we just talk. So my thing was, I dance. How do I teach kids to add and subtract without talking? Because we say kids have speech impediments, but yet if I find a way to communicate to them, they might do it better than, you know what I mean? There's some people, was it a guy, he's blind or something, he's on a bicycle, but he writes better than a lot of people that have sight. So when we communicate with them at the level that they are and where they thrive, they're going to shine. So this is what I done. The number system we use is the Arabic number system, right? 0 to 9. Yeah? These numbers that we have here, the traditional numbers I have on the left, they are just the symbols for that number system. Now in India, they use a language called Gujarati. Should have put that slide in. They've got the number line, but they didn't have note and the symbols we use. They've got it in the Gujarati language, right? So they just changed the symbols. So all I then done was, okay, why don't I create symbols for full body, because manual communication is usually with your hands. It's not full body. And the beauty is about this number system is it is a positional number system, am I right? So if you put the 1 and the 2, it's 12. If I put the 2 and the 1, it's 21. So we go, okay, cool. We create our own number system. We create our own system of how we're going to do it. And once the kids know this, we don't need to talk anymore. So now we go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, you have to learn this. So that's I'm just do the first few. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah? Now in dance, it's a chest pop. I'm not the best at it, no chest, but anyway, you get the idea. This is a chest pop. In my language now, this becomes plus. Okay? So if you see this, it's plus, yeah? If you see me do this, I'm doing a minus sign with the heels. That's minus. And if I turn, it's equal to. A lot of times the guys do this at the end, isn't it? So it's almost end off. So we go equal to. So if that is 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's a positional number system, and that's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we know add, subtract, equal, can we not talk now? Because now I go, yeah? We don't even need to talk, but we're struggling and we label people because of our incompetence in not making the path easier for them. Instead we isolate them and shift them, which the world does in many areas. So now we go, now we can start adding music to it. You see that? And the kids can answer. And the beauty of this is, which I'm still going to push, we're starting here. We can go to creating normal numbers here. We can go to addition, subtraction, we can go to squares, we can go to cubes, and I'm building this thing. And we tested it in 1 or 2 schools, and it's amazing. And I'm in the space now where I just have to finish my proposal and hopefully do a master's on this topic and figure it out. I'm getting there slowly. And I'm going to be honest with you. I suck at writing. I suck. But I got through my honors the other day because it's important. I was watching, I don't know what pastor, and he was saying, you know what? People's destiny and people's liberty or their liberation is tied to your purpose. So if we do our thing and we run after it, we're going to free other people in their time. So it's important for us to do what we're supposed to do. So I don't know what you think of this. I am so excited for this. And it's still going to roll out. We're getting it there, but we're taking small steps. Make sense? But this just proves to me that we can teach our kids the way they learn, and we have to empower our teachers, and all of us have to play our part, because there's no way I can do what you guys do. There's not a freaking chance. We dependent on each other. And we're currently busy working on original concept. I'm very excited about concept we work with. You guys know North Star, graffiti artist? We're working on something that will be done in maybe 2 months time. It should have been quicker, but 2 months. Excited about that. Busy working on another, it's footwork, dance footwork, and it's a relationship to the number pad we use in the phones. So when you do certain dance moves, that gives you certain numbers. So what, do you know what I mean? And that is what patterns are about. That is what is exciting and the stuff that, I'm just so excited, guys. And it's a slow, long journey, but it's exciting because we can do so many things. And I'm going to go back to a slide at the start, and this is kind of what it's about. I'll skip this one.
You're living a fantasy. There is no Easter Bunny, there is no Tooth Fairy, and there is no Queen of England. This is the real world, and you need to wake up. This town isn't big enough for Yeah? What's the difference?
You hear that? What's the difference? Presentation. You know, I'm worried about my time. That's why there's a video I didn't put in here. Do you know there's a scene in Gladiator where is Maximus, the main guy, yes, no? Maximus goes up to the guy that stood in front of the king already. And he says, I also want to stand in front of the king. What did you do? And the guy turns around and he says, I wasn't the greatest because I was the best with the sword or whatever he says. I was the greatest because I won the crowd. Win the crowd and you'll have your freedom. And then he turns around and says, I'll win the crowd and I'll give them something they've never seen before. It's exactly what we need to do. Winning the crowd, when you win the crowd, you get your discipline in class and you get the kids in your hands. But we also need to give them something they've never seen. And I want to end with this, and then the short video at the end is, maybe if we as South Africans, as people in education or stakeholders in the creative industry, if we start, in our own space, start creating solutions to this, and we bring all that together, which is obviously, how are we going to bring everything together? Just speaking, we're getting there. Maybe we'll have the solutions to our own problems, like I said earlier. Then we won't have to bring in, like we brought OBE in, and bring in all these things, and we can create our own solutions to our own problems. And I guarantee you that is the issues that we have in our country is going to then position us to be the leaders in the space that we are in. Then the other countries are going to come to us and say, when they eventually get there, because the right things are going, they're going to get there with big class and all these things, they're going to say, how did you guys do it? And we can do it. I'm looking at Singapore and all these countries and the stuff they are doing. It's stuff that we can do here. Like, genuinely, we can do these things, and we have people, we just need to find them, and that's the journey. So, play a role, and then I'm going to end with a video by Trevor Noah, which kind of explains to me what education should be like, or how education should work. And, yeah.
Do you feel like you hit a stride?
I don't ever think that I've hit my stride. It's very much like an athletic event. You're always trying to be better.
So by striding, do you think you've found your way?
Well, I think I've reshaped how I've seen the show, because when I first started the Daily Show, and when I took over the seat from Jon Stewart, I had an idea of what I wanted the show to be. I've now come to realize that I am existing and the show is existing as an organism in a world that is constantly changing. And so I cannot give it a concrete definition because the world around it is constantly shaping how it reacts.
Okay.
So, if anything, I wish for the show to be like water that should be moving with the same force as it moves through ideas and conversations. And I think it's about finding an authentic way to express a point of view in and around what the news is every single day. That's what I'm trying to do on the show. But I've come to realize there is no fixed point. I'm sailing in a direction, aiming for true north, but it's shifting with the tide, and you're constantly trying to keep the boat where it needs to go versus where you thought it should go.
You got it.
The world is going to change all the time, so we can't have a fixed school. We need to shift, and we need to position ourselves to shift with what is happening in the world. And yeah. I felt like I had to say something so profound now.